Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Tonight, the House of Representatives appears to be moving closer to impeaching Donald Trump for a second time. That would be the first time in history that's been done. Speaker Nancy Pelosi earlier today said Trump needs to be removed from the White House, called upon the president's cabinet and Vice President Mike Pence to immediately invoke the 25th Amendment and declare the president unfit to dispatch his duties. It would immediately move the power into the hands of Mike Pence. And failing that, Congress will act.
I joined the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment. That is the overwhelming sentiment of my caucus.
You might have caught that may there, which I've been thinking about, maybe moving forward with impeachment. Now, there's new reporting tonight that Vice President Pence will not budge on the 25th Amendment. And again, why would he? He has hitched to Donald Trump for all eternity. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, those two names will be together forever. They will be judged together forever, for better or most likely for worse. And so Congressman Jerry Nadler, chairman of the Judiciary Committee that impeached the president 1 year ago, said it's time to do it again, saying, quote, "I support the immediate impeachment of the president and his removal from office. In the wake of this deadly attack on the Capitol, in the face of this insurrection, we must act. There must be consequences. Those consequences must be commensurate with the offense, and they must begin with the President of the United States." And Chairman Nadler is absolutely correct. Donald Trump needs to go now. It is no coincidence that less than an hour ago, the president released a stilted teleprompter video condemning the assault on the Capitol and conceding a new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. It was clearly a bid to halt a 25th Amendment or impeachment, even as Rupert Murdoch's Wall Street Journal editorial page says he should resign. And despite his hostage video concession, it is still clear that Donald Trump cannot be trusted to hold the office for a minute longer. You know, when history comes knocking, when we arrive at these moments, it's strange and surreal because it feels weirdly normal. But our country is, I'm telling you this right now, in the midst of a national emergency as acute and severe as anything since the Civil War. It is urgently important the President of the United States be removed from office as quickly as legally possible. The president is a clear and present danger to American democracy, as exemplified by many things, but certainly by his actions yesterday. As Eric Levitz aptly put it in New York Magazine, he must be evicted from our White House immediately, our White House immediately. He must be frog marched out of our civic life in disgrace. Amen. Donald Trump has 13 days left, not even 2 weeks. But in that time, he is the commander-in-chief of the most powerful armed forces in the world. In fact, in human history. He has access to the nuclear codes. But short of that, there's all kinds of powers that adhere to him as the President of the United States. Among them, the pardoning power, which he is now reportedly discussing to use to pardon himself, which again would be unprecedented. But above all that, yesterday, the man charged with protecting the country and defending the Constitution and American democracy led an armed mob to the Capitol and unleashed them to overrun it.
And we're going to have to fight much harder. And Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us. And if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country. We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
Let's all go down to the Capitol. Don't be weak and don't cheer the ones doing the wrong thing. The ensuing assault on the Capitol building resulted in the deaths of at least 4 people. There are 4 people who are dead after that. And members of the Article 1 branch of Congress, the first branch described in the Constitution, cowering behind makeshift furniture barricades as the armed mobs rampaged around and the president rooted them on. At one point, after the Capitol was breached, as people had guns drawn in that building, the president tweeting out an attack on Mike Pence, who at that moment had been cleared to a secure room by Secret Service. It's a miracle more people didn't die. A miracle. It could have been much worse. As the Justice Department confirmed, 2 explosive devices found in the Capitol yesterday were real explosive devices. Also reports of devices outside the RNC and DNC. Today, the acting U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. said President Trump was not off limits in his investigation. What happened yesterday? Well, he sure shouldn't be. The plain truth, this is not hyperbole or partisanship. The plain truth is that the president has been openly engaged in sedition and seditious conspiracy since he lost the election. In fact, before it, honestly. Yesterday was just the capstone of it. He needs to be removed from office quickly, and then he should be arrested and tried for sedition. That's where we are right now. Anyone who pretends otherwise is deluded, is disqualified from the sober duties of public life at this important moment. Congress needs to take the steps they can control. They cannot rely on people in Donald Trump's cabinet to do the right thing. Why would they? They're the people who have colluded with the president as he has overseen the deadliest year in American history and lied to us about an epidemic that, as of today, is killing a 9/11's worth of people every day. Senator Chuck Schumer made that clear moments after Pelosi spoke.
Speaker Pelosi and I tried to call the vice president this morning to tell him to do this. They kept us on hold for 25 minutes and then said the vice president wouldn't come on the phone. So we are making this call public because he should do it and do it right away.
The president incited a violent mob to attack the Capitol. There is no analog or precedent, really, for it in American history. Perhaps the caning of Charles Sumner in 1856, and 10 years later we had a civil war. It should live in infamy and blood-soaked dishonor as that moment does. And the vice president is a moral coward, complicit in all this, ducking Congress's calls. So Congress should move immediately to impeach Trump. They absolutely should not go home, as apparently many have. He sent his armed mobs into your workplace, Congress. They sent the speaker fleeing into a secure room while they ransacked her office at the president's behest. If that is not a crime, I do not know what it is. What are we doing here, everyone? Last night, Senator Mitt Romney, the only Republican who voted to remove Trump from office, and for that, he deserves credit, said we are going to have to hold our breath until Trump is gone. I have a news flash, Senator. You can't hold your breath for 13 days. Not good enough. We are in completely uncharted territory here. Everyone's grasping for the right word or analogy, whether in our own history or comparatively in other countries. And everyone wants normalcy. But this is what it is. We face what we face. The president is a threat to the republic and to American democracy. He's not just plotting to overturn American democracy. He's actively trying to make it happen. He needs to go right now.